Hi, welcome back to another episode from Nathan Ost's Lip Flexibilities. He's written 2 volumes, 21 Lip Flexibilities, Volume 1 and Volume 2, and for some unknown reason, I randomly flipped back to Volume 1 and was going through and playing some of them, and I came across a couple with a star on them. So for me, a star means I need to practice this. Now, I haven't practiced it yet, so I'm going to do a little bit of that practice today. So I want you to keep in mind what I'm mostly doing here with these is I'm not intending to do a performance. I wouldn't let most of these videos out in public if I were intending to do a performance. I would do a little bit of polishing and refining before I put them out in public. But this is not, I don't mean to do this to show off. I mean to do it to demonstrate. And the most important thing to demonstrate, in my opinion, is how to practice. Once you learn how to do that, you can continue to make progress for your whole life. And that's a wonderful thing when that happens. So I'm continuing to make progress, and I'm going to play a little bit of number 8 in Volume 1 for you. This is one that I starred, as I mentioned, and that means there's something about it that is annoying, and I need to go back and take a look at it and try and get more comfortable with it. So I don't know if I'll be able to play this all the way through without stumbling, but I'm going to give it a shot just to see what happens. Now, the tempo that he has marked is 54 to 66. That's to a dotted quarter note, and the rhythm is continuous sixteenths. So it's da 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 da. So the first thing I try and do is get into the groove with it. Then I might look at the notes and see if I can hear them. So I think I'm hearing it correctly, but if I'm not sure, if you're not sure when you're doing this, yeah, I was going too high. So I wasn't looking carefully at the notation. Oh, it's just a C major triad. Sometimes that helps to know what the theory is. Oh, it's just a C major triad. Now, something I noticed in the second bar is my D's a little out of tune, and that's because I'm concentrating so much on the interesting fingering. D. So that fingering, for most people, where you're crossing between second and then first and third and then back to second, that feels a little awkward. For me, it feels quite stiff, and that means my hands are not really limber yet. And that's part of warming up. Many people don't pay attention to fingering and getting comfortable with the way the fingers feel and operate in their warm-up. They might do a lot of drills like Clark studies or scales, but often the concentration is on the musical result, which is great, but the fingers tend to get overlooked. So a lot of times I'll go, like I said, that feels tight. That fingering is pretty easy in the first bar. So my goal is going to be, as much as possible, to try and get to the point where the awkward feeling stuff at first becomes just as comfortable and confident as the smooth, easy feeling stuff. That requires a little bit of setting aside of your ego and quite a bit of patience, and for most of us, a fair amount of work. But if you are making a little bit of progress and getting more comfortable, and sometimes that can happen very quickly, you've solved a lot of problems. And the important thing is, you're giving yourself a command, and you're telling yourself a truth. The command is, we have to improve this, and I think I know how to do it. And the truth is, well, this is the way it sounds now, but it can be better. And then your vision comes in, how can it be better? And if you're specific about that, and you really listen to what's coming out of the horn, that's how you improve. It's actually very simple. It's just that most people are not doing it in that really simple manner. So I've done a lot of talking, I haven't done a lot of playing. Maybe I should try and play this. Right now I've already run into some problems, so I have a choice. I can practice what I just heard. My D wasn't quite in tune. Oh, I forgot to put my slide out. And the fingering pattern isn't so great, so I'm going to just try the first 2 bars. Now, it's still not quite as smooth as I want. There's like a bump. that time, and for you more advanced players, you're going to know about this already, I played around with it with two fingerings, alternate fingerings, or rather uses of the slide. So the fingerings stay the same, but I'm using the first slide to lower the D, and then I'm using the third slide to lower the D. And on this horn, and on many horns, those higher positions, you know, your second valve, first and second, are going to be more comfortable than your, you know, sixth and seventh position on the horn, because there's less tubing open, and it disturbs the way the sound wave is moving through the horn less. So this is something you need to check out for yourself. It's going to be different on different horns, and of course the player's involved. So a lot of what we're doing physically comes into play here, but we're actually tending to react to what we're feeling and hearing coming back from the horn. So if I hear something that's out of tune or something that's like bumpy, I'm generally going to be striving to fix that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the striving part that's not necessary. So what do? Slow it down. I'm going to see if I can play ahead for a little while. And I think I see a spot where I might run into trouble. So I'm going to try and keep a positive frame of mind and see what happens when I get there. Let's check my tempo again. So I was playing a little bit faster than that. He marks 54 to 66. Of course, you can go faster than that and slower than that. So that's 66. That's 66. Let's try it. I like to go fast. Oops. Hit the rough spot. I don't know if I can play that fast. That's what one of my fine colleagues from the Columbus Symphony would call a finger bender. I think that's pretty common parlance. It's like, that's a little bit awkward. See, I don't get it. Why? I don't know the pattern yet. So I have a little trick that I do, and I mentioned this in a couple of other videos. You want to make it easier for your fingers. Fingering the trumpet valves is actually more awkward than most people think. When other wind players try and play the trumpet valves, or a pianist, you know, puts their fingers on the trumpet valves, like my wife did once to see what it felt like. She goes like, ew, that's terrible. And we just take it for granted. Well, that's what it feels like. You just have to push the buttons down and let them back up, right? And they got springs in it. It's a certain distance. Yeah, but that's what you have to do. So it's nice to get some perspective. So what I do is I just very lightly let my fingers rest on the lead pipe right next to the valves. Try and space them so they're about the way the valves are, but I'm not going to worry about that because my main thing is, can I get loose and relaxed? And then I try and hear it. I'm doing it very slowly. Now, for those of you who don't practice this way, try it. For those of you who do practice this way, you're probably getting bored. But I find that most people don't practice this way, even if they know that, oh yeah, sure, play it slower, smooth it out, get it to be even. Yeah, but this is a process. So just getting my fingers to go, dee-da, 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 dee. See, I'm relating the sound to the fingering. That's absolutely key. And it goes right back to when we first learned how to play the trumpet. We saw notes, usually with fingerings written underneath them. Oh, push down this button, push down those buttons, you know. That's what we do. That's what we do. And so that's one of the first things that most of us learned, is we're associating a fingering with a note. In this case, you're associating a fingering with a sound. Now, I still haven't solved the problem. So I'm going to take you through some quick stuff. Let's see how things are working today. So I'm going to try and buzz it. Now, when I'm doing that, I can't do the fingering. But if I get a pair of Sando valves, some of you may be familiar with, or something simpler and less expensive, like a brass buzzer, which is a little brass slug that goes in fits into the receiver, and a little ring to hold the mouthpiece, or a burp, for example. And there are other great devices on the market. Actually, if anyone has a comment about what the best buzzing device is, I think Stonevy makes one now, which I haven't tried. I think Terry Warburton makes one. The whole point of those devices is to try and make it feel more like playing the trumpet. But I have a much simpler solution with a piece of equipment you always have with you, your hand. So I'm going to just hold this between my finger and my thumb, and without without closing the end of the tube or getting too close to it, I'm just kind of wrapping my fingers around to create a cavity. I picked this up from watching my colleague Tom Siders of the BSO warm up. And this is one of the main things he does when he warms up. And just listening through the entire range and trying to maintain a vibrant, clear sound, and physically, just like everything is even, like it's right here. So I've given you a lot of information. Those are all things to practice, but you can't do them all at the same time. But I'm pretty quick, so I might sing it with the fingerings. Just do the fingerings on the lead pipe next to the valves. And then I'm making mistakes. I'm still making mistakes. So I'm in the process of learning what is the finger pattern. Dee da dee da dee da dee da dee da da dee. So you have the impediment of the difficulty, the awkwardness of the third finger that we're all dealing with just because of the way our physiology is put together. And then you have the pattern which your body has to learn. So for me, that's the hardest bar in this particular version of the pattern, number 8, that there is to play. So that means I might spend a fair amount of time just practicing that. And there's a lot more that we could talk about, like evenness of sound between the registers, which is a big issue for me. I have trouble keeping the lower register focused sometimes in the way that it should be. So I'm really working on that big time. But I can't do the fingering thing, the pattern recognition, hearing the pitches, paying attention to the subtle qualities of the timbre of the sound, paying attention to the intonation, paying attention to the evenness of the timbre, for example. I can't do all those things at the same time until they become automatic. So that's what this meticulous kind of practice is all about. Let's try the last line and see how this works. So I'm a little tight. Sounds okay. I'm kind of pinching with my lips a little bit, and I'm obstructing the airflow. I want them to be kissing soft. Wow, that felt pretty good. So now I'm getting much more even. And now I'm going to listen to the dynamic intensity and the quality of the sound as I play the upper note. Why? Because this pattern, and this is a great way to practice it. You got 3 bars of tune here, and you can practice it just listening to how even can I get the notes. Now this is something that advanced players do. And highly trained, highly skilled, experienced players, they just do this. And it's natural because you're listening for consistent quality. It doesn't mean the quality has to be consistent. You should be free to do whatever you want to do expressively. But it starts with simply being able to keep the quality of the vibrational quality of the sound, the aesthetic beauty of the notes, even through the register, through the dynamics, and especially as you're doing flexibility exercises like this. So take your little trumpet and see if you can work this out on and off the trumpet. All right, I think that's enough on this. I'm looking at the next variation on this, and you should feel free to transpose these. Please, as I've suggested before, learn them by ear, which means you're learning a pattern of interval relationships and melodic patterns. It's all great. I'm gonna go ahead and play the last variation, and then just leave you to practice. But I think let's see. I see where the bar where I'm having trouble. I've scanned through the music. Third finger stuff. So this is the 5th and 6th bar of the second variation of number 8 in the first volume of 21 Lip Flexibilities for Trumpet by Nathan Ost. So I had to hesitate. If I can't produce, if I can't produce exactly where that pitch center is, if I can't hear it accurately, then my body doesn't know what to aim for. I can go in the same general direction, I can push the valve down, the proper note will probably come out, but I'm not going to be able to stay in that sweet spot where the notes all are even. Let me try it. I made a mistake. Second to last bar, I was playing a B natural. I don't know why. I saw a B and failed to take into account that there's an F, that there's a B flat in the key signature. And that's partly because it doesn't sound like it's in F major. What's the key? Well, the key is, the harmony keeps moving, which is great. So what key are we in there? I think D minor, which would still be one flat. That's just a brain fart on my part, you know. So what am I looking at? Oh yeah, same thing as in the other one. So if I left the upper notes out, that's what I'm doing. And that's a repetitive pattern. And repetitive patterns are easier because your brain goes, oh yeah, I know what that is. And then you're more free to just let your body operate automatically. Then I can listen to the upper notes, which weren't particularly great. So I'm always looking for, when I get the basics, when I get the patterns, when I get the notes, when I get the fingers to loosen up, when I get the basic flow of the sound production, then I'm letting my ear guide the process. And that happens with pretty much everything that I would practice. So put some of those things into your practice. Be patient. Just be present with the sound. And I think you're going to find you make a lot of progress. Just playing the exercise doesn't do much. But you want to wake up your awareness as much as possible. And especially your awareness of the beauty of the musical qualities and the beauty of the physical movement patterns. That's what it's all about. That's what makes the music. I'll see you all later when you have some time, and I hope you find some interesting stuff to keep you busy on my channel. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.